Good morning, everybody. My name is Nick. I am an addict. My drug of choice is people, and I am the founder of Life Support. And this is a little something different I wanted to try. We've had step discussions in the past, and I thought maybe I might try to see if I can figure out this video thing and maybe talk a little bit about step one. We admitted we were powerless over our addiction, and our lives had become unmanageable. And taking that from the Narcotics Anonymous steps, I feel it's a little more general in the terms of addiction and what that can mean. Powerlessness. I've been experiencing quite a bit of that lately. Feeling of being powerless seems to be amplifying over the last year. I myself was, besides being an addict, I myself was in a relationship with one who had managed to stay clean for about 2.5 years and relapsed a year ago. Left our family in quite a financial situation. Couldn't survive on my own, not on my own income. I've got 3 kids that are living with me, 5 total. The other 2 seem to still come and go as they need to in life, but I couldn't survive on my own. I was pretty well in debt, and I wasn't gonna be able to pay the rent and the bills and the credit card bills and the loans and everything else. And it was pretty bleak. I was very blessed to be able to consolidate some things, buy a home. Gave me a mortgage payment a little bit lower than my rent, and finagle some things so that I could survive. But you know, it was just barely. I juggled finances as long as I could. Inevitably, the credit card debt caught up to me. The loan payments caught up to me, and just got to the point where, you know, while I am fortunate that I'm able to pay the rent and the lights and the heat and everything that we need to, you know, live, I'm not able to keep up with the I call luxury financial expenses, the loans, some of the loans, credit cards, and it just gotten to the point where I did not have the extra money anymore. And I'd worked real hard. You know, September of this year was my 5-year mark. I was 5 years clean. Am 5 years clean, and you know, I'd really worked hard to put my life back together, and I had been blessed with an excellent credit rating. And a few months back, just got to the point where I had to make a choice, and I started paying the living expenses, but I wasn't able to pay the extra ones. And unfortunately, it's pretty much destroyed my credit, and the bills are piling up. Creditors are calling, bill collectors now, collection agencies. You know, I found myself in a couple situations where, you know, people from my past, a friend from my past, needed some help. Ex-wife needed some help, and I was in a credit position that I was able to, you know, reach out and help another person, and I did so. Got burned a couple times, which did not improve my financial situation. And it's just been financial, you know, And you know, I wonder. You know, I'm sure some of you can relate. You get to that point, like right now, I'm in a point in my life where I really feel like I have everything I need to be happy. You know, I have a home. I'm able to maintain that home. You know, financially. Struggle. You know, I can pay all the bills, but then I'm gonna stay positive. We'll stay positive right now and say that, you know, I have a home, a beautiful home. I'm in a wonderful town. It's a safe place to be. The kids are able to experience things that they weren't able to experience before. In terms of, we lived in a big town, now we're in a small town. They can, you know, they can walk to the park by themselves, and I mean, I can go for walks at 10 o'clock at night, and I don't have to worry about anybody bothering me. It's a simpler life, and I live in a good neighborhood, and you know, I'm just blessed in that way, and I really truly feel that I have everything I need to be happy. I think the finances have been the biggest struggle and the biggest stressor in my life. And as things progressed, and beyond just not being able to pay the credit cards and not being able to pay the loans, some of the loans, you know, I also found myself in a position where I was getting just enough money. I'm on disability, I'm disabled, where I could pay all the bills but didn't have enough money for those extra things that come along, you know. I'd reach the beginning of the month and have, you know, $200 to live off of for the rest of the month, and so you get those things: toilet paper, laundry, detergent, kids need to go on a field trip, school expenses, gas, cigarettes, unfortunately, is a vice of mine, and all those extra things that come along through the month that, you know, that you need that little bit of extra pocket money, reserve money. And I found myself in a position where I was having to sell things. I was having to sell my personal possessions, you know, in order to make up for that. Tried real hard for the last, you know, 9 months trying to find a job, applying all over town, everywhere I could. I'm able to work part-time, but only for a few hours and at a time, before I need to, you know, step away because of my limitations. And I just wasn't having any luck. I'm not an ideal employee on a physical capability standpoint, and so I found it really difficult to find a job. So I ended up, like I said, I was selling my personal possessions to make up the difference while I was trying to find a job. Bill collectors, collection agencies, and then as things, you know, progressed, I had the added complication and weight of some health issues. I've been having a lot of, me personally, been having a lot of dental issues, and the whole right side of my face and the teeth, all my teeth seem to be falling apart at once. And you know, I struggled a lot over the last 2 months, just trying to get somebody who could figure out what was going on, you know, between root canals and having teeth pulled and everything else, and nobody could seem to find the right procedure, combination, location to take that, you know, to alleviate that pain. And so, you know, and it's probably some of the worst pain that I've ever experienced in my life. And I had a wisdom tooth pulled in the process of trying to figure all this out. And about a week afterwards, I was yawning, and my jaw cracked. Went through x-rays and CT scans and all that other stuff, and everybody said, oh, it's nothing. And then 2 days ago, I was doing a follow-up, and my socket's not healing right, the gum's not healing right, the bone's not healing right, and I probably broke my jaw. And so it's a crack. From what they think, it's a crack in the base of my jaw, right where the wisdom tooth was pulled. And they're talking about having to cut me open and put a plate in my face and screw my jaw together. And I don't know. I mean, after everything, after all of that, I was just done. That was the breaking point for me. I just, um, I think for the first time, and I can't remember how long I wanted to drink. I wanted to, and not just have a drink and, talk with my buddies kind of drink. I'm talking about I wanted to get hammered drunk. I was always just a beer guy, and I'd have beer was my thing. That's what I drank. But man, I wanted to go buy hard liquor, and I wanted to get drunk. And I was literally in a position where I felt powerless over everything. After everything I'd been through in the last year, helping people that let me down, being left with 3 kids and $13 and $11,000 in debt, having people steal money from me, watching my credit go in the toilet, the bill collectors calling, not being able to find a job. I mean, everything. Even 5 years into sobriety, and my life felt like it was falling apart, and I didn't know what to do anymore. I was tired and exhausted, and I could not understand why everything felt like it was falling apart, and I felt powerless. I felt powerless over all of it. I just didn't know what to do. There was nothing I could do, it felt like, and just wanted to give up. I wanted to get drunk, I wanted to get hammered, I wanted to forget about all of it, even for a night, but yet there was deeper things where I wanted to take a bottle of pills and just end it all. And it was just, it really, even at that point, or I guess especially at that point where I felt powerless, it literally was unmanageable. It felt unmanageable. There was nothing I could do about any of it. It felt that way, and I could have easily, gone straight to the liquor store and grabbed something to drink, and just started the process of hiding, of coping, of trying to disappear, trying to numb. I made attempts. I reached out, and unfortunately, the person I reached out to didn't quite get it. I guess they weren't able to react or empathize in the way that I needed at the time, and I reached out to another person who wasn't available, and I made those attempts, that process, those things that you learn to, this is how you handle that, and if you need to use, or if you feel like you need to use, or you feel that urge, or you feel overwhelmed, you call people, you reach out, that's part of the process. I was doing that, and I wasn't having much success, and I had other things I had to do that night, and after going to the surgeon, and of course he wants to do surgery right away, this coming Tuesday, and I don't know why. Maybe it was practice. Maybe it was because I've been practicing, this new way of life for so long. Or maybe it was, the practice had created habit. Maybe it was, I don't want to die. I don't want to hide. I want to be happy. I want to just be, and I want to enjoy life, and so all these negative things I was thinking and feeling, I think in my heart, because I know who I am today. I know what I have to lose. I know what I want. I know what kind of life I want, and I work hard to try to have that life. And for whatever reason, whatever it was, you know, I had to go pick my son up from work. He's 21, and you know, he's in recovery right now, and he's doing the rehab thing and kind of putting his life back together, and there's something clicked with me when he got into the car, that I knew that I could say what I needed to say, that he would understand, he would get it, he would empathize. I felt like this, I don't want to say calling, but like a vibe that I knew that the person I needed was here now. He was finally, you know, they were finally here. And I just, you know, I asked him if he had time to talk or listen, and told him I needed to just vent. And of course, you know, he said yes, and I pulled the car over, and I don't even know where we were. I think we were in a parking lot by a gas station, and I just broke down. I bawled and I cried, and I said it all. You know, I want to get drunk, I want to die, I want to run away, I want to give up, I want to this and that, and every horrible thing that I've been through, and every negative thought I was having, I just dumped it all out there. And you know what? He didn't say a thing, and I guess I didn't need anybody to say anything. I just needed somebody to understand. I needed somebody that I knew could get it, and I needed to be able to just be. I needed to be me at that moment, and me at that moment was in trouble, and me at that moment needed to talk, and needed to dump and vent and emotionally vomit. But I needed to do it with the right person, and you know, I was able to. And you know, when I was done talking, I said, that's it. And you know, but in the process of talking and emotionally vomiting like that, I was able to reach, you know, getting beyond that, those negative thoughts and those negative feelings, and saying the things that, you know, you just you can't say to anybody, but you can say to the right person. I was able to reach the point where I was able to go, yes, those are all my feelings, but I know I can't drink, you know, I can't get drunk, I can't kill myself, you know, I can't give up. I'm gonna have this feeling, and I'm gonna go home, I'm gonna make dinner, and I'm gonna help my kid with his homework, and I'm gonna go to sleep, and I'm gonna let it go for tonight, and I'm gonna figure it out in the morning. Because I was able to do that, because I was able to talk and vent and dump all of that stuff out, it put me in a position where I was able to reflect and reach that point. And you know, a lot of times they call, you know, in a sense, it's kind of what they call playing the tape out, where you know, this is what I'm thinking about doing, but this is what you know, how it's all going to play out. Playing the tape out, it's how it's all gonna. This is, you know, hurting myself or getting hammered. You know, getting drunk, getting high is not going to fix the problem. It'll still be there when I get sober again. You know, killing myself is not going to fix the problem. It's going to move the problem to the people that I leave behind: my mom, my sister, my kids. On top of the fact that they'll all be destroyed by the fact that I'm dead. You know, I mean, it playing that out gets you to the point, or got me to the point where I could reflect on it and say, you know what, those are I have these feelings, and I have a right to feel this way because of the weight that I've been carrying around, but it's not the answer. And I bawled, I cried, I just broke down, and I needed to. But it's what I needed. And I came home, and you know, my son hugged me and he told me he loved me, and that's all I needed. I just needed somebody to listen and not try to fix it, not try to give me all the reasons why it was happening, just to sit there and listen. and to hug me. And you know, when he hugged me and he told me he loved me, I started crying again because I needed it. Because I felt completely powerless. But in the process of, I guess, acknowledging that powerlessness, speaking about it, sharing all the negative feelings and the overwhelmed feelings I had about being powerless, in a sense, it gave me back my power, because by processing through it and getting to the point where I was able to reflect and recognize that those feelings were just feelings and they weren't really options at all, it reminded me that, or I guess helped me recognize that I had a choice. And my only choice, was to have that feeling and move on and keep going. And by doing that, by venting and expressing those feelings and allowing myself to have those feelings in a safe place with a safe person, I was able to go home, finish the night, get some sleep, wake up the next morning, and surrender. I really surrendered to the idea that I was powerless, you know, over all that stuff that was happening. But I did have the power to choose. You know, am I going to trust this surgeon that wants to put a plate in my face when he's the one that pulled the wisdom tooth and broke my jaw in the first place? You know, what are my options today? You know, am I going to just rush off and have this surgery? Am I going to get a second opinion? Do I need to go see my doctor and talk to them? Is the CAT scan good enough? Should I get an MRI to be sure that my jaw is even cracked? Should I talk to a lawyer about suing somebody for leaving me with a broken jaw for a month? You know, should I drive an hour to an extra hour to another oral surgeon that might be able to reevaluate it all and give me a second opinion to make sure that this is the right move for me? I can't control the pain I went through. I can't control, you know, I have no control over what the dentist did or the oral surgeon did. I have no control over whether or not my jaw's broken. But I can, you know, that feeling of powerlessness, that feeling of unmanageability, instead of hiding from it, I processed through it. I walked through it by having the feelings I needed to feel with a safe person in a safe place. And by doing that, I was able to remember that I had power. I had the power of choice of how am I going to react to this? How am I going to handle it? What's my next move? And in that ability to make those choices, I was able to make my life manageable again. It is manageable. I do have choices, you know. I chose, and ultimately I chose that I'm not going to rush right into surgery. I'm going to get a second opinion. And I was blessed about 3 weeks ago and found a part-time job, and I'm working, and it's helping make up the difference. I don't have to sell the thing. I don't have to sell my stuff to pay my bills anymore. It's because I mean, a lot of it had to do with the fact that I just kept trying. I kept going back to the places, even if I'd been to them before 3 times and asking for work. And I had this place that hired me, I'd been to, that was the 3rd time I'd been in to ask for a job, and he had one available. And that's such an important part of it. It's just, is that I keep trying, that I keep getting up, that I keep moving forward, and when life throws me hurdles and challenges and pain, that instead of hiding from it or running from it, I push through it. I walk through it. I process through it so that I remember that I am not powerless. I have power. I have the power to choose how I react to the things that I face, that I have to deal with. I have the power to choose what my next step is. I have the power to choose how much I'm going to let this impact my life. Am I going to sit in that pain, or am I going to push through it? by doing that, it brings back the manageability. Identifying that you have a choice. My power is to choose. My power to choose. My power is choice. Manageability comes through my power to choose. And it's, you know, it worked for me. It really did. And it's something that, you know, remembering that I have the power to choose is something that I identified way early in my recovery, and it's something that still works for me today. And I don't know. This is something you know, it really kind of moved me. I'm exhausted. I'm really exhausted. It's been a rough go at it, you know, but I know that it's not hopeless. And I'm going to keep moving forward. And I don't know. I just felt like I really wanted to share that with you guys. Just I guess a bigger perspective, realistic life experiences that really, for me, symbolize step one. And you know, I hope some part of it spoke to you. And you know, I love comments. I love interaction, and I'd love to see more of that on this page. So please comment away. This page is open to all the members. You can post things. You can post pictures, videos, phrases, memes that move you. You know, share, talk, discuss. Please interact, because I need that too. We need each other. And so please, you know, feel free to comment on this, react, and I hope something I said moved you today. So have a fantastic day, and you know, I pray that each of your higher powers continue to help you through your recovery, and that you continue to find hope through this group and through your recovery. So bless each and every one of you, and take care. Thank you.